The Crow is directed by Rupert Sanders and it stars Bill Skarsgard, FKA Twigs and Danny Huston. And in this remake, and let's be honest, it is a remake of the 90s classic, soulmates Eric and Shelley are brutally murdered, but when he finds out that he can save her soul by sacrificing his, Eric comes back from the dead to take revenge on the people that took his life and his girlfriend's. Now, The Crow was a movie that I had no excitement for. In fact, I was very cynical towards it happening. I'm sure you all know why, because The Crow, the 90s Crow, is a brilliant film. And as we all know, or if you didn't know now you do, Brandon Lee, the guy who played Eric Draven, sadly died while that movie was being made. So the fact that we're just getting a random remake to capitalise on the fame of that movie is just kind of disgusting to me. But I was willing to be surprised, but after I watched the trailer for this movie, my god, my expectations were even lower than ever. And after seeing the movie a couple days ago, I can safely say that this movie was exactly what I thought it was going to be. The Crow is another lifeless, drawn-out remake of a classic film. Where we had that before? First of all, this movie is terribly paced. The first act focuses on Eric and Shelley's relationship. Then the second act goes into this overly complex for no reason plot of just Eric coming to terms with his powers and that he has to save his girlfriend. And then the last 25 minutes is where this film actually becomes The Crow. The last 25 minutes he finally puts his bloody makeup on and actually goes down and tries to kill the people that took his life. So basically we're getting an hour and 15 minutes of so of slop, and then actual Crow movie. That's how poorly paced this movie is. Now, I wouldn't mind the slower pace if you actually gave a damn about what was happening, but you don't. The relationship between Eric and Shelley is so painfully uninteresting. When the original Crow does it better through 5-second flashbacks, you know you have a problem. First of all, Bill Skarsgard and FKA Twigs have zero chemistry. No chemistry whatsoever. It just felt like they turned up on set, said, yo, you're alright. And I said, right, let's just act. That's basically what it felt like. And the characters themselves, you're basically just watching two junkies bang every once in a while, go out raving, and saying edgy dialogue. How am I supposed to care about that? What I also hated about this movie is that it tries so hard to be complex. And it's way too overly complex for no reason whatsoever, other than to try so hard to distinct itself. They show Eric being conflicted about saving Shelley because of something that's revealed in the movie, but he comes off as such a jerk and ignorant because he knows what Shelley did was not exactly her fault. And the fact that he's been given godlike powers to save the one thing that brought him happiness, and he's refusing to do that, he just comes off so arrogant and unlikable. Like, what's with all this questioning stuff? The Crow is a pure story about love, so keep it that way. And the overcomplexity shows throughout the ending as well. One, it tries to set itself up for a sequel.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
And two, the ending just shows that the writers had no idea what The Crow is about. The ending was just... it felt nothing like an ending to a Crow movie. Nothing like it. It just felt like they tried so hard to just be something different, but they just forgot what The Crow's morals are. I also think they just went completely off the rails with the villain. I'm going to get into spoilers here with this, but listen to this. So our villain made a deal with the devil himself to live immortal, and in exchange, he'll kill innocent people and get them down to hell.
What?
First of all, why does he want to be immortal? I hope you're ready to die with that question in your head. It's never explained. And two, what the heck? Yes, The Crow does have a bit of supernatural element in there. A guy comes back from the dead, for God's sake. But what is this? A guy makes a deal with the devil himself and drags people down to hell? Like, what? That was just so stupid, even for the Crow's standards. And also, he just doesn't pose a threat to Eric at all. Even when they do eventually meet at the end, he's defeated so easily, so why should I care? And Danny Huston, look, I think he's a great actor. He's been great in many films. But he plays the same villainous role every time. X-Men Origins Wolverine, Wonder Woman, The Crow. He might as well just be playing the same character. And the other performances aren't great here too. Bill Skarsgard does not bring the energy and the charisma that Brandon Lee brought to the role. I will say he does get a bit better when he finally puts the bloody makeup on. But he just didn't bring anything great to this movie. And FKA Twigs, she's mainly a singer or some sort of like rapper or whatever. But she was not good in this movie, unfortunately. I could tell she tried, I'll give her that, but her performance was pretty bad, unfortunately. Also, the villain's henchmen, not only was the performances by their actors pretty bad as well, but they are the most forgettable henchmen ever. Remember in the original when you had, you know, each of the henchmen and villains with like distinct personalities? In this film, they might as well just have been called Henchman 1, Henchman 2, etc. Because they are so dull and bland. And on a technical level, this film's not brilliant. It just looks like another generic blockbuster movie. It's not the worst thing ever, but compared to the original where this dark gothic style, this film doesn't hold a candle to that. I will say that the CGI and the gore effects for the most part were pretty good, and I do appreciate that this film is very violent and bloody. I say that as a positive because I feel a lot of blockbusters nowadays are just so scared to show blood and gore that I kind of just appreciate it when a big movie does that. The music to the film was okay, again, nothing compared to the original soundtrack. For some reason they use a lot of techno music, I don't know why. That doesn't fit The Crow at all. But when they did use like more gothic music, that was when the soundtrack really hit. But to end this review on a positive note, the one thing that I think was great about this movie was the action. Specifically, that whole 10-minute sequence in the Opera House. Brilliant action scene, well choreographed, edited. I like how they cut between the action and the performance inside the hall. That was just really well done. And I like the little moments. You see it in the trailer where Eric flipping shoots through himself to kill that guy. And there's another bit with his sword, which was pretty cool. So that whole section there was probably the more entertaining part of this movie and where I was really into it. But overall, The Crow was exactly what I expected. Another dull remake of a classic. It has no proper distinct style. The music's all over the place. The story is so overly complex for no reason. You don't care about the core relationship. The two actors have no chemistry. The performances as a whole were not great. The only thing I liked about this film was that 10-minute action sequence in the opera hall. But to be honest, you might as well just wait until this movie comes out on streaming and wait till the guy uploads that scene on YouTube. Because it's the only great part about this movie. Why would you want to go through an hour and 15 minutes of sloppy storytelling to get to 10 minutes of greatness? No person in their right mind will do that. And also, no person in their right mind will watch this over the original. Why would you? The original's a classic, dripping in style, charisma, charm. This one feels, well, you feel nothing. So The Crow is exactly what I expected. Even if you're like the most die-hard Crow guy, I can't suggest this to you, unfortunately. So The Crow 2024 is going to get a 2.5 out of 10. And guys, that's it for the end of this review. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have seen The Crow, let me know your thoughts on it. Did you actually like it? Did you think it was better than the original? Did you absolutely hate it? Let me know in the comments. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. And see you later.